Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 162 of Credit 101. We're going to talk about maximizing your credit card. So, tips for smart credit card use. Now, I know I'm making a lot of videos about these different things, but I know that sometimes we need to beat these things into our own head because as I'm teaching these things to you all and I'm making these different videos, I'm educating myself even more on these different things. And I'm looking at it at different angles too. And then not only that, it's making me remember, oh yeah, you know what? That is right. I do need to do that. I remember that from my past. That did help me before. So I like to watch these videos and I like to continue to educate myself. And I want you guys to continue to do the same thing also. Now, if this is your first time watching these different vlogs, understand that this is 162. We've been doing this since episode 1. We're almost done with this one topic, which is just to me credit 101, just credit in general. We're going to go to another topic. If you guys know any great topics that you want me to focus on, again, this can be a whole year that I got to get into these topics. So 162 days worth so far I had done this basically. If you guys want me to do another topic, definitely let me know. I'll be happy to go over that topic with you all. But let's get into this one. So the thing is, I want you guys to understand your credit card terms when it comes down to any of your credit cards. You have to understand the terms. You need to know what your APR is, your interest rate is. That's what you guys are going to be charged for whatever balance you are keeping on your credit card. And I tell people when it comes down to APR, make sure you pay your statement balance by your due date, and you'll never be charged interest. And that's what I do. I don't want to pay any interest on a credit card. So I'm going to pay my statement balance by the due date. And then I want you guys to look at the different fees as in annual fees, what's your late fees, do they got foreign transaction fees in terms of can I use this credit card outside the country? Yes, I can. What you going to charge me? They may charge you 3%. They might charge you 1%. They may charge you a percentage for using outside the country. So you may want to find out which of your credit cards do not charge a foreign transaction fee and use that when you outside of the country. And make sure you guys utilize the reward programs. I love my cashback points and travel rewards. That's the reason why I use my credit cards. Like I think about that as a major thing when I'm like, okay, which credit card should I use? I'm looking at what cash back I'm getting on each credit card. That's what I'm looking at. So I want you guys to think about that too. Consider and understand the credit card terms. The next thing is you guys have to maintain a low utilization of your credit cards. I know a lot of people say do 30%, but I am a firm believer of actually having a utilization of 5% or below when you're applying for credit. You can maintain the 30% while you're basically not applying for credit. You're not doing anything. You don't care what your credit score is. I say that to say when you start caring what your credit score is, you want your credit score to be very, very high. You want to have it at 5% or below. Okay. And that's just my number. You can do whatever number you want. And then I'm have videos and I'm going to show you guys at the end too video on the utilization tracker I have, because I love to use this utilization tracker to actually track the different credit cards and know what the utilization is. Make sure you're paying all your credit cards on time. Again, I make sure I pay the statement balance by the due date, but at the same time, I go back, I actually have on auto pay the minimum payment. I pay the statement balance in the beginning of the month, or sometimes at the very end of the month. Like it's the 29th when I'm actually filming this, the 29th of July. So I would actually start getting ahead of next month, knowing what's all those bills and start tackling those bills because they're coming up anyway. All of my bills are on auto pay. I can't say a lot. All of them are on auto pay for the minimum payment, but I got to go back in and see what statement balance I need to pay by that due date because that's going to be very, very important. So make sure that you guys are paying your bills on time. And then make sure you're paying more than the minimum payment. Do y'all know, like when y'all look at y'all statements, they'll say, hey, if you continue to make this minimum payment, it's going to take you 7 years. It had like a large number there. It's going to take you 7 years to pay this debt off. And this is the amount that you're going to pay in interest. That's a lot of money. So make sure you guys are paying more than just that minimum payment. Stop paying interest on these credit cards. You got to look into Dave Ramsey and think about getting out of debt. That is going to be a big thing. I do not suggest credit cards for those people that's going to hold a balance on it because all you're doing is ruining your life. All your money that that you're going to have to pay is going to be going into these credit cards, and that's not what I want. And also make sure you guys take advantage of any credit card benefits, like I said, that's out there. Some of the benefits can be purchase protection, extended warranty, travel insurance. Some credit cards have these different things as long as you use that credit card to book your trip. So look into that. And then also maybe you guys want to use, like, they have car rental insurance for certain credit cards. Look into that. But just make sure that you know what benefits you have on your credit cards and you're taking full advantage. And then monitor your credit card activity. See what transactions are happening. See if you have any unauthorized transactions. If you do have it, you need to contact them right away and make sure that they start disputing that transaction for you. That's going to be very, very important, because you don't know. You can have something, that a transaction that you did not put on your credit, not your credit report, on your credit card, on basically in your activity. So you want to know what's going on so that you can dispute that and you're not paying extra money for charges that you did not make. And make sure that you build and maintain a good credit history. Again, on-time payments are going to be the biggest thing, and just keeping your balance low would make it easier for you to maintain a good credit history. Because guess what? If it comes to the point where you can't pay something, your balance is already low. So if you got a $5,000 credit card and you only really keep a $500 balance on it, it's going to be way easier to pay off $500 in a pinch than to pay off $5,000. So make sure that you keep your credit card balances low. And then consider any credit card upgrades. If you can upgrade to a new credit cards, maybe you have credit cards that don't give you any type of rewards, and maybe that company have a credit card rewards that you like. Try to see if you can get that one. Try to see if you can get one to have lower interest rates too, if you know that you're holding a balance on your credit cards. And then too, if you have credit cards that some of those old credit cards, you use these credit cards to start building your credit, and they have maintenance fees, annual fees, your credit is built. Or even if you still building your credit, try to get some new credit cards that can replace those credit cards. And I would say wait a whole year, or wait till you see what your credit is looking like. I would say wait about a year. Honestly, because you don't want to close that old account. I really don't want to tell you guys to close that old account, but if they got maintenance fees of like $8 a month or something ridiculous like that, you made the bad decision. You still having that credit card around, you probably do need to get a new credit card and close that one. And then try to see if you can negotiate some better terms. And this can be just lower interest rates. You guys can get a lower interest rate, or ask for a higher credit limit. That can help you all out a lot. The higher limit can actually help with your overall utilization. So I definitely always tell people every month, ask for an increase. And also leverage balance transfers wisely. I love balance transfers. They're like my new biggest thing when it come down to credit, because if I want to hold a balance on something, or if I want to borrow money, I want to borrow it at no interest at all. So I love the 0% APR credit cards. I do not like to do a balance transfer. A lot of companies charge a balance transfer fee. What I would do is, instead of doing a balance transfer, I will put all of my new transactions. If I think about swiping anything on a credit card, I will put that on my 0% APR credit card, and I'll take all of my cash, anything I would have spent to pay whatever I put on this credit card, I would take all that cash to pay off all of my other credit cards that have that basically I cannot hold a balance on, until this new credit card is filled up all the way into wherever you want it to be filled up at. And that way I avoid paying a balance transfer fee. Because say if you transferring a $3,000 balance, like I transferred, let me give an example. I transferred a $3,500 balance from Navy Federal to my Chase, and I think they charged me a 5% fee. And it was oh no, it must have been a $6,000. They charged me a 5% fee basically. When in actuality, I could have just took my cash and paid off Navy Federal and put all of my charges on that new Chase credit card. But understand that some of the credit cards that offer 0% APR is not just for balance transfer. You want to make sure it's for purchases also. So that's another thing you can think about. If it's only for balance transfers and they charging a fee, where I'm at in life, I'm not going to pay it, because I don't need to borrow the money. I don't need to pay you a fee to do it, to borrow the money. It's going to be setting me back. I can just borrow the money and not use it at all, and not put any new transactions anywhere else. But you want to definitely use the balance transfers wisely. But I hope that this video was very helpful, that you guys can actually have some smart tips of actually using your credit card. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 163 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to just simply talk about how to get an increase on your credit card. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want you guys to actually check your credit reports. You need to know exactly what is on your credit. What is your credit score? I want you guys to double check that you have your utilization at or below 5% on your other credit cards, and that credit card, if you can help it. A lot of people may say, just have 30%, but I want you to have the best credit score possible. So I'm going to tell you that I want your utilization to be at 5% below on your credit reports. So I want you to make sure that you check your credit reports and see exactly what's going on. And also, I want you guys to evaluate your financial situation in general. So I want you guys to know exactly what's going on with your employment, how much money you have coming in. Are you making more than you were making when you first got this credit card? Because they're going to ask you how much is your gross income, your net income. So you want to know these different things before you actually apply. And then I want you guys to understand the credit card issuers policies. So I want you guys to look up other people, put your credit card into Google and put credit increase. And also, you can put on their recent credit increases, because they'll show you other people that may have said they got an increase, or you can read more about the policies of this actual credit card company. Because some credit cards, they just don't give increases at all, depending on what credit card it is. And not only just that they don't give increases, some of them give more increases, some of them give less increases. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that and prepare for your request. I kind of went over this already in a way. I want you guys just to make sure that you have everything together. You want to make sure if they possibly want to ask for like your income, especially if you're like a credit union, make sure you just have your documents together so that you can prove your income. And to me, the biggest thing is to have your credit together in general. So you want to make sure you do that. See if you got any negative accounts on your credit reports. If you have negative accounts, work to remove these. I have a free letter on my website. I'll show you guys that shortly, that you all can get and use to remove negative accounts. But the goal is to have the best credit score possible when you actually prepare to ask for an increase on any of your credit cards. Now, you want to make sure you contact your credit card issuer. Usually you can do this online. You can do a request online, but sometimes you got to do a request by phone. I know when I went to get a request on my Apple credit card, just basically Goldman Sachs, it was a different type of thing I had to do. I had to like message them and ask for the increase link. So definitely call, because some companies will let you just do it online. Some you got to call. Like I think with Wells Fargo, you have to call. Apple, the GM rewards, you have to ask for an actual link to get the increase. So just contact them and ask how you can do it. And then after that, just make your request. Some credit card issuers just going to ask what your income is. Some issuers are going to ask you what you want, like how much you want. Like with usually Synchrony Bank, they have like the Lowe's, the Walgreens, a lot of the store credit cards, the Care Credit, they're going to ask you what you want for your increase, like how much money you want. So I always tell people that when you ask for an increase, they're not just going to deny you based off of what you asked for. So say if you wanted to get $5,000, you had $2,000, you wanted to get to $5,000. I always tell people ask for 10, because all they're going to do is they can meet you. They can give you the 10, they can give you 8, 7, 6, 9. It can give you a lower amount, or you can just get the 5, but ask for more. And I learned this with my Lowe's credit card. With this one, I was asking for baby increases. And I literally made 3 increases like this. I asked for an increase. It's too low. They gave it to me. I asked for an increase again. I guess too low. They gave it to me. I mean, like real time right now. I asked for another one and they gave it to me. I'm like, what? What is the top? What is the most? But when I asked for that last one, I'm like, I'm going to ask for a lot. And they gave me more than I mentally wanted. They gave me more than what I mentally wanted. So that's why I tell people, just throw out a large amount, like shoot for the moon with this one, but definitely make your request. And then next you got to wait for a response. So these companies will let you know instantly if they're going to give you an increase, and then you will see an increase instantly, like on your online account, so that money can be available immediately. And then sometimes they may tell you that they can't do it. And as if they tell you that they can't do it, they'll tell you why. Sometimes they say the account's too recent. The balances on some of your other accounts are too high. Your debt to I guess they could say debt to income ratio. Too recent new accounts. They don't like the new accounts you have. Recent derogatory accounts in your credit reports. They'll let you know why they denied you. Usually a letter in the mail. Some companies like to do like a secure email where they'll email you where you can get the response right away. So it's different for every company, but definitely wait for that response. If you do not get it immediately, you can also call them and see exactly what's going on. And sometimes you can call them and ask them, why won't y'all give me an increase? Like, I understand y'all what y'all said, but it's not true. Can I get this reconsidered? And I want you guys to maintain some good credit habits in general. Like, please, you guys, keep your utilization low. Put all your credit cards on auto pay so you never have any late payments. Don't have unnecessary debt because it's going to look very, very bad when you're trying to borrow more money and you already have a lot that you're trying to pay. And also, when it come down to maintaining good credit habits, one habit I say is you should always ask for an increase, period. Always ask for an increase. Just because you have a credit card, say if you start with a $5,000 balance on a credit card, that don't mean you should stay there. I want companies that's going to give me increases. As I increase in life, I want these credit cards to continue to increase in life. So I want you guys to keep on top of this. Sometimes when you're desperate for an increase, like how I used to ask every month because my thing was I might miss it. Some people say ask once a year. And it's like, I had that mindset, but when I was with Capital One literally gave me like three increases in 1 year compared to that one person that probably just applied that one time. So I say constantly ask for an increase, but hopefully you guys are able to get those increases. Just make sure that you maintain good habits and you should not have a problem at all getting increased. Hey, beautiful people, welcome to episode 164 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about should you close your credit card accounts. Now, I want you guys to know that I know some of y'all going to click off, but don't be closing your accounts, okay? Try to keep them open, and let's kind of go over a few things I want you guys to think about. So I want you to think about the overall impact to your credit score when you close your accounts. If you have a credit card, once you close that account, now you're messing with your utilization because now you have less money available to you. So your overall utilization is possibly going to go down. And then also your length of credit history. When you start closing your old accounts, it's going to shorten your average age of accounts. And your average age of accounts is something that people have to purchase. Like, you can always add a new credit card to your credit report. You have to really purchase age. Like, that's something you'll have to buy in terms of being added as an authorized user. But you got your own credit cards that people would love to be on as an authorized user, but a lot of people just close these. So I don't want you guys to close them. Now, something to think about though when it's come down to closing accounts, if these cards have high annual fees, you might want to consider closing them, or you can ask to downgrade the credit card so that you can get like a no fee card. That's something that you can consider, especially for those people that have those credit cards that have maintenance fees. Maybe they finally got you to where you need to be in terms of your credit score is higher. But if they have very, very high fees or annual fees, then you may want to consider go ahead and closing it. But make sure before you think about just closing your credit card accounts, I always tell people to make sure that you have at least 4 good credit cards, no annual fees. Let these get old for at least a year before you consider it. And I'm saying at least a year, but I do still have an Open Sky credit card that I had for years. I do not use the Open Sky credit card, but I have had this credit card for years. I refuse to close that credit card because of it has age to it. Like, it's an old account, very, very old account. And it is an annual fee on there. I think the annual fee is like $39 per year. And I refuse to close that one. So just keep that in mind. That's my disclaimer, because I am saying wait a year, but it's like, Kitty, you have yet to close that one account. But for some people to have like $100 and something annual fee, $79 annual fee, or if you guys were to have those maintenance fee there where they charge you $8 per month, you need to close those. Like, I will close those right away. Now, if you guys have any unused cards, make sure that you guys please go purchase something at least every 6 months, because they'll close your credit cards due to inactivity. I had plenty of credit cards, I mean, with a $4,000 balance before, that I did not use because it was a store credit card and they had like some nice stuff I wanted to get, and I felt like I didn't want to purchase that stuff yet, but I didn't use it. They closed it due to inactivity. But granted, I think it was at that 2-year mark they closed it. But I always tell people they can close it sooner, or they can actually lower your limit sooner. So I tell people to make sure that they go and swipe and use those cards that they just have sitting around. They're unused. Now, I said this already, consider interest rates too. And I only saying consider interest rates if you guys are carrying a balance, but I wouldn't say necessarily close it. Okay. I would just say keep the account open and do balance transfer to like a 0% APR credit card. I would not tell you guys to close it because of the interest rate. Because again, I tell you guys, pay your statement balance by due date. You'll never be charged any interest. So we're not thinking about those type of things in a way. So if you guys can stick to that, you guys will be fine. Okay. But don't close it based off no interest rate. That'd be crazy. Consider like the rewards and the benefits in terms of this credit card. If you get any cash back, travel points, any other perks, think about what you'll be losing when you actually close this account. Okay. And if you're managing so many credit cards and you're feeling overwhelmed, I actually don't have my sheet up, but if you go to my website, I'm about to show you guys that pretty soon. I have a utilization tracker on there where you can literally list all of your credit cards, put all the due dates on there. And I'm happy that I created this document because I was very unorganized with my credit cards, very unorganized. And that's how I ended up getting late payments a lot in the past. I mean, years ago. So I tell people now, just list all your credit cards, list all the balances, list all the limits, and it can help you manage it better. And hopefully it will help you figure out some of your personal financial goals in terms of if you want to pay off any debt. Some people have security concerns about their credit card and they want to close it because of security. And I just don't think you guys should close because of security. If anything, go and see if you have any transactions on that credit card. And this is what I do too. I'm not going to just lie. This is what I do. And this may not be good. I just want to say this. I don't check all of my credit cards monthly. I don't necessarily check all my credit cards monthly, but if you guys want to know if you have any security concerns, if you are having an unused credit card, you should be checking your bank account where that minimum monthly payment coming out of. You should be checking that monthly, because once you get a minimum payment due from that credit card, you immediately know it's fraud. And you have, I believe, months to report the fraud. So if you were to see that minimum payment and you like, I did not use this credit card, you already know that something is up. But don't be like me too. This happened to me before where I got a minimum payment out and I could have swore somebody was doing some type of fraud to me. Y'all, was the annual fee. So keep this in mind too. So hopefully this helped you guys when it come down to should you close accounts. I say keep them open unless it's some of them accounts that you shouldn't have got in the first place, but you already built your life up now that you could just let that go. Okay. Hey, beautiful people, it's Rickita. I'm back with another video. In this video, we're going to talk about the step-by-step guide on how to close a credit card account. In the last episode, we said, should you? If you guys know that you should close it, let's talk about what you guys should do. First off, I want you guys to actually review the account. I want you guys to ensure that you have your balance paid off. They're going to want you to have your balance paid off. If you have any pending transaction, you have to wait till they post. They take about 2 days usually to post, but you have to wait till those transactions actually post and you pay it off before you can actually close the account. You also want to check to see if you got any rewards or benefits. If you have any rewards or benefits, I suggest that you all please withdraw these different rewards or benefits, because I found that when I had my Tumo card, I hated that they just closed the account because I couldn't take out my $13. And $13, that could have got me some coffee at Starbucks, you know, especially when you're working to be debt free. Every little bit counts. That's the reason why you even use some of these credit cards. So if you have any type of rewards there, use them up. Make sure you use up all your rewards or benefits before you actually close the account. And again, make sure that your balance is paid off. Clear all your balances, make sure that you confirm this payment. And I want you all to contact the issuer also. You can contact the issuer to say that you want to close the account, and they should be able to close the account right over the phone. Okay. You can also do a written request if you want. You can actually write them, letting them know that you want to actually close your account. I would suggest that you send this certified mail and you keep copies of it, and you still call to verify, because I just don't see why you just wouldn't call them too. So verify if you do not see everything getting closed. Verify this right away, that they're actually taking the actions to actually close it. Now, next, you want to actually monitor your account too. So you want to see, if they're actually closing, check the last statement, make sure that everything is being closed. And you want to verify this closure also on your credit reports. Your credit report will say you have a new closed account. And then that's when you can know your account is actually fully closed. And understand that there is going to be adjustment when it comes down to your utilization, because if you think about it, you have less debt that's going to be available. So there is going to be an adjustment. A lot of times, if you keep high utilization, or if you keep balances on other credit cards, you're going to see that your credit score is most likely going to go down, because now you have money that's no longer available on this credit card. Unless this was that credit card that had a big balance and you paid it off, like, I'm closing this, then in that case, then it can actually possibly help you. And just make sure you update your records, what's going on, and then consider alternatives in terms of, can I get a credit card with no annual fee? Can I downgrade my card? Could I talk to the company, see if they can fix whatever problem that I'm having so I don't have to close it? So definitely consider that when it comes down to closing your credit card. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 166 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about smart tips for using debit cards safely. Now, when it comes down to using your debit card, you want to make sure that you're using it safely because of security reasons. This is direct money to this is like a direct access to your money. Usually when using a credit card, you got to pay the credit card out of usually the account, like your actual checkings account where your debit card is connected to. So you want to use it safely. So I definitely want to talk about these different tips. The first thing I want you guys to do is just make sure that you monitor your account regularly. I log into my bank accounts every day and check transactions. I check it first thing in the morning. That's something I do, because if something goes wrong, you really need to know immediately. So that's something I personally do. But I also like to check a statement too, go over your full statement. But I know if I've been on it every day, I know for sure what's going to be on that statement. So you definitely want to check every day. That way, when you check that statement, you know what you've already seen. You looked at all this stuff already. Plus, you did the transactions. So keep that in mind. And you can do this on your online banking. And make sure you set up alerts and transaction alerts and notifications. I love to know when I have any checks that get cleared. You can set all these notifications up. If I get a direct deposit, I want to know my balance every morning. I want them to tell me every morning what my balance is. You can set up these notifications for yourself, whatever you see fit. Make sure you all are protecting your PIN. So never share your personal identification number, your PIN, with anybody, because they have direct access to take money out of your account. And you have to think about it too. When you go to Wells Fargo, they ask you for your PIN when you request money out of your account or to do anything out of your account. So your PIN is very, very important. You just don't want to mess around, okay? And use strong PINs, and force yourself to change your PIN and remember the new PIN, because if you're using old PINs, it's not going to be good for you, honestly. And make sure you guys are using secure ATMs. I would suggest going to like banks. Sometimes you go to different stores or different places that may have like a ATM for that business, and it's that business's ATM. I kind of would be a little cautious of something like that, because you just never know with some of these ATMs, especially if it's like a personal business. Just be careful. And also make sure you avoid public Wi-Fi for your transactions, because you don't want, for some reason, somebody hacking into there and actually being able to see all your information, basically. And if you can help it, use VPNs. I am affiliated with Aura. I love them. You can go to aura.com/Rickita. They can give you a 14-day free trial. I should have it also down in the comments. They actually have VPNs that can help you all. So I definitely like that. And be cautious of just giving out your credit card information. I don't like to just give out my credit card information over the phone. I like to come in and do something or go online and do it. So be careful of that. If you ever lose your card or if it's lost, make sure you contact the bank right away, and you can ask for a replacement. You can go in, you can call over phone, but just do something about it, and try to do some type of two-factor authorization. I can't even say it, authentication, because you basically want to do this because sometimes you may want them to send you a text message as a verification or send you an email as a verification, not just put my password in and get in my account. Please request the extra security base, basically is what you're getting. And I definitely make sure I do this, and a lot of banks gonna do it anyway. And just make sure that you're using your debit card for little small purchases, and usually for big purchases I would suggest that you guys will use like a credit card. And if you guys were to, I'm not saying not to use debit cards, I'm just saying that I just don't want you all to possibly miss any type of reward. So if you have a debit card, see if they have any type of rewards. Like with Wells Fargo, they have usually, like if I look on Wells Fargo, they'll have percentages that you can get back if you were to use your debit card, or even if you were to use your credit card with certain companies. Hey, if you go to Little Caesars, we're giving you 5% back, things like that. And you could do a double up, possibly. I don't know. I was thinking if it was a double up, in terms of you're going to get the 5% back, but if you used to use like the credit card that you already getting you already have like the one where you're getting the 2% back, then can you actually get 7%? It's something to think about, but definitely make sure that you're looking into this, and make sure you keep your contact information updated. That way, if they do have to contact you, they'll have your information readily available so they can get in contact with you. Because I once had some fraud about to happen, and they always text me like, hey, is this your large transaction? And if you don't have an updated number there, who are they texting? So keep this in mind. Hey, beautiful people, welcome to episode 167 of Credit 101, where we're going to talk about why you guys should avoid prepaid cards. Now, I honestly was thinking we should not be talking about this, but I don't know. I do know a family member that got scammed, so I just need to throw it out there. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just make this video for sure. So you got limited consumer protections. If something go on where maybe you think that how some people think that they need to put money onto a special card or something, they get scammed in a way, or if this prepaid card is ever stolen, you try to get some funds, it's going to be so hard to be able to get this done, because listen, you guys, they got very poor customer service. So it's going to be very, very hard to even get some type of help on this. And then they have high fees when you guys want to withdraw any money from some of these cards, or when you guys are doing certain transactions, they charge you more than if you were just to have a bank account. And I just remember using cards sometimes like this when I was very, very young, because not knowing what's going on. Started working at 16, getting some of these cards, or even our paycheck went onto one of these cards. You didn't have a bank account, they put your paycheck onto this card, and it was very, very high fees taking money out. Even if you guys were to do like a cash back or something at like a grocery store, it was a high fee to do that too. So definitely it's very, very high fees a lot of times with these, and it's no functionality. Like, you're using these prepaid cards, you're not even building your credit. You'll be better off just getting you a credit card, or to avoid fees, get you a debit card if you don't want a credit card. But you need to really look into using other things, and you risk your funds being lost too. A lot of people, I remember even my uncle, when he used to get his government Social Security, he used to get Social Security. He used to get his Social Security into some of these accounts, and it's like, this is not good. You don't have any type of insurance. you got to think about the FDIC insurance is not going to be covered on a lot of these. So, it's just going to be so hard. You just don't want fraud to happen with these accounts. So I always tell people to like really stay away. And then you're going to have poor financial management. You're not really going to be checking your transactions like you would with a regular credit card. So please avoid it. And then no overdraft protection. If you were to use a debit card, you have money sitting in your savings account or wherever, you can set up that overdraft protection. And some companies actually have it where they're not going to charge you fees to do these overdraft protection. So just understand that. So definitely, if you guys were to get overdraft fees, it's going to be very bad. So please make sure you guys avoid these prepaid cards. Suggest you guys just get in the bank account. Go to your local bank, go to a credit union. Wells Fargo allows people to get an account, even if you if you got something on check systems. So I would say go to Wells Fargo, get you an account on Wells Fargo. Do your research on Wells Fargo to see if you can like them too, because I don't know what's going to be going on with these companies, but I'm just saying it now. And technically it is July 30th, 2024. So, it's no telling. So definitely do your research, but just get you an account. And if you're using prepaid cards, you should also start learning how to manage a credit card, because you can just build your credit with the same thing you're already doing. So hopefully you guys will get started on one of those. Beautiful people, it's Rickita. I'm back with another video, and this is episode 168 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to build credit in your name. And the only reason why I said in your name is because sometimes people have their spouse that build credit. Maybe they build credit only in their name, and now you need to start building your own credit. So I want to talk about how you can build your own credit. Sometimes you can be an authorized user only on their credit cards. You kind of piggybacked off of their credit cards. You never really looked at your own, how you can build it in your name. First off, it's just like anybody else. So look up credit building in general. So I tell people have 4 credit cards reporting onto their credit reports. Try to get credit cards that don't have an annual fee. Try to get credit cards that have rewards for you. Try to get 4 of them. That would be the goal. Let those just marinate is what I like to call them, meaning don't get any more of them for a whole year. Let those start to get old. The good thing about building credit, and I want to say this the good thing, but the major thing about building credit is you want to have age. So let those start to get old. It's going to be a year old. Then consider getting more credit, but at least make sure you got those 4 credit cards. Make sure you get some type of installment account. Maybe you'll have a car in your name. Maybe you'll have a personal loan in your name, or maybe you can do like a kickoff or a self account, their installment account, so that they can report this onto your credit report, so you can start building credit. And this is just, you can build it in your name. And just make sure you have all of your accounts set up on auto pay. Make sure you learn utilization, keeping a balance low basically on your credit cards, because this is going to help you in the future. And I know that some people may still be authorized user on someone else's credit card. Maybe you all may want to consider adding yourself to more of their credit cards too, so you can boost your credit score even more. And that's only if maybe you're on 1 or 2 and it's your spouse, and maybe you want to get on more so you can boost your credit score even more. But make sure it's accounts that don't have any late payments or anything like that. Hey beautiful people, welcome to episode 169 of Credit 101, where we're going to talk about adding accounts to your credit reports. Maybe you guys don't want to get credit cards. I know with Dave Ramsey, he talked a lot about how he don't want people to get credit cards. You can build a credit history, or you can do underwriting without it. I want to talk about what accounts you can actually get added to your credit reports and how to actually go about it, so that you can have accounts reporting onto your credit report that can help you build your credit without you actually having to get a credit card. So definitely let's get right on into the video. The first thing is, I want you to understand like the account inclusions. You guys can be added as an authorized user to someone else's credit card, and they can add that to your credit report. You can get rent payments added to your credit report, utility payments, cell phone bills also added to your credit report. And these are like the different accounts that you can have reporting, and this can help you build your credit without you having to worry about getting 4 credit cards, want a statement, one installment loan, you can avoid those different things. Now, when you're requesting to be an authorized user on someone else's credit card, just make sure it's a good credit card in terms of they don't have late payments, they keep the balance low, they pay it off every month, they pay off. They don't keep more than a 5% utilization on that credit card, just because if they do these different things, it can actually hurt you, and you don't want to um, be hurt by this. Now, usually you'll give them your information, they'll add you as an authorized user, and you'll get that credit card in the mail. You should be able to call to get verification about this credit card being added, because once you get added as an authorized user, they should start reporting it to the credit bureaus. So you can be able to call to see when this reporting may happen also. Now, when it comes down to rent payments, I have the rental karma I always tell people about that can actually help you report your rent payments. And when you guys don't want to have credit cards, reporting your rent payments, having a company, outside company actually do this for you is really, really good. So I'm going to make sure, I believe you guys can put in Rickita 25 rental karma, and you guys could be able to have your rent reported. I'll make sure I find that link and put it down below for you guys in this video for sure. But you can definitely report the rent. And also utility. I remember the point that utility payments was being reported, they were being reported before, it actually destroyed my credit because I wasn't paying it. I mean, years ago when I was very, very young, I was not paying my utility bill. So every month it will ding my credit. And now, like, I have my utility bill that's not being reported, but I'm going to tell you guys a way that you can have these things start being reported for you all. I'm going to talk about that shortly. Now, I want you guys to verify and check your credit reports to make sure that these accounts are being added, and then I want you to follow up to see if there's anything that may be wrong too. Maybe they have some issues. Maybe it's not reporting on all three credit bureaus. Maybe the balance, or you may have problems with the reporting of it. Just follow up about these different things. Now, remember when I told you all I wanted to tell you how you can get these things reported, and that's with Experian Boost. You can use Experian Boost. They need access to your bank account though. They're going to go through your transactions, see what you're constantly paying on, and then they're going to report that on your credit report, on your Experian credit report. So that could be beneficial so that you can get more out of your Experian credit report. So I suggest that you all definitely check that out. When I did the Experian Boost though, and I think it's because I use credit a lot, I didn't get that many points. I think I got like 7 points. I was like, so if that, I was so disappointed. But some people said that they got more than that, and some people said they got less. But every point would definitely, it could definitely matter. But I think about too how when you're buying a house, maybe they're gonna have to include that to your debt to income ratio. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Think about that and do some research on that. But make sure you all, when you guys are requesting these accounts, just make sure it's added to your credit reports correctly, and make sure that these accounts are going to actually help you boost your credit. Hey, beautiful people, welcome to episode 170 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about how you guys can get creditors to consider your spouse's credit history. So if your spouse has some good credit and you want to actually get access to it, or you want to be able to have all of that added to your credit report, or you just want to get approved for something and you want them to consider that, then I'm going to talk about what you need to do. So the first thing is, I want you guys to just apply for joint accounts. If you apply for a joint account with your spouse, they're going to have to consider their history. So if you want to consider a history, just apply for joint accounts. Also, get added as an authorized user on some of their credit cards, because their good history is going to go on your credit reports, which means they're technically considering that because it's technically theirs. They worked for it. So think about that, or ask your spouse to co-sign on a loan for you. That can help you because they're going to consider their credit. And just make sure that if you want to make sure that they are considered, or you like, I don't know if they're going to consider it, don't think too hard about it. But if you put their information on your application, a lot of times, double check with the company. A lot of times, if you put their information on there, they're going to check. especially if you put that as your spouse. So if you put it on there, that means that you want them to actually consider it. Okay. And just understand, if you put the information on there, they probably going to get a hard pull and all those things too. But those are four different things that you guys can think about to make sure that your spouse's information is going to be considered, their credit history is going to be considered. In the next episode, we're going to talk about what we don't want them to consider. Like, don't look at all. We're going to talk about that in episode 171. Hey, beautiful people, it's Rickita. I'm back with another video. In this video, we're going to talk about how you guys can get the creditors to disregard your spouse's credit history. I have to do this before, and what I have to do is very, very simple in a way, and it's literally just ask. So ask the creditor, is there a way I can get this loan without my spouse's credit history being considered? Certain loans, you don't even need to put them on there because you got individual loans and you have joint loans. So you can always just ask them, can they not consider it? If there's something that's on their credit report, you can ask them to not consider that specific thing. They're going to only say yes or no. And again, if you have the option to do individual account, don't go ahead and do the individual account. When you do a joint account, that means you're actually adding your spouse on. You're saying, yes, we're going to do this together. So if it's just an individual account, you don't want the information to be included. All you have to do is just get an individual account. And if you guys do not want your spouse's information to start mixing with yours, where you guys are going to start having a lot of each other accounts on each other's credit reports, then don't add your spouse on as an authorized user. And also, because we already talked about not just doing a credit card with them, so don't add them on as an authorized user, and then you can avoid them actually having accounts being tied with yours. Because if you're not doing joint and you're not doing authorized user, it's really no way that a lot of those accounts are going to be on each other credit reports, and you can avoid them not even looking at those accounts too if you don't do those two things. But I hope that this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. Hey, welcome to episode 172 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about the next steps you have to do to actually get credit. When you're in a rebuilding stage, let's talk about what you actually have to do to start rebuilding. So the first thing is you got to assess what your situation is. Everybody have different situations, so you have to see where you're at. Actually get your credit report, look at your credit reports, and get all 3 credit reports. You can get them for free at annualcreditreport.com. I always have a link down below where you can get your credit scores and your credit reports, all 3 of them. They have $1 try, Danny IQ for $1. I have that down below. But you guys have to get your credit reports and see exactly where you at and see exactly what your score is. You got to know where you're at first. So definitely get your credit reports. And I definitely suggest that you guys create a budget and a financial plan so you can know, like, what are you doing? Are you going to be paying off your debt? Are you just trying to increase your credit score? Are you going to be saving for future expenses? Like, what are some of your goals? And I want you guys to develop a budget, because when you have credit cards, you always can think, or if you start building up your account, you always think, oh, I can just use this extra money and I'll just pay it back. But if you're not budgeting and you don't know exactly how much you have coming in, you don't know how much you could possibly, how much you could pay back. So definitely make sure you guys create a budget and a financial plan, because it's going to help you. And if you guys have any negative accounts in your credit reports, please address them. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys how you guys can get free dispute letters to address these different accounts. But dispute your errors that's on your credit report, and then do any type of negotiations. If you want to negotiate or settle an account, this is the best time to do it. And negotiation can be just paying down debt. You could do the snowball method, where you're going to do the smallest to largest, or you can prioritize your debt with like the avalanche, where you're doing the highest interest rate down, until you get to the lowest one. You're just listing them. Figure out whatever you want to do to pay off your debt. Find out what method is good for you, and think about paying down some debt if you guys do have debt while you're trying to rebuild. And make sure you guys establish a positive credit history. So you want to make sure when you open a new account, you're not having any type of missed payments, put everything on auto pay. Make sure you guys keeping your utilization very, very low. I always say 5% whenever you want to apply for something. But just making sure you're paying a statement balance by the due date to not be charged any interest. Those are the two things I like to make sure that I live by. And if you guys are doing that, you're going to be establishing history. And make sure you have at least 4 credit cards and 2 installment accounts, really, to get you a nice amount of history, so you can really get you a house, get you a car right after those start aging, literally. So monitor your credit regularly too. So I want you guys to start looking at your credit reports. Every morning I wake up, I look at my credit reports. And also, if you guys are not like every morning, I look at my credit, I look at my bank accounts. If you guys are not every morning, then try to do it just every week. See how that goes for you. So try to see if you can just check, say, hey, every Friday after I get paid or whatever it is, I'm going to just look at my credit scores, credit reports, and see if there's anything changed, see how much my credit scores went up and how much it actually went down. Now, make sure that you guys maintain good financial habits throughout this process. And when I say maintain good habits, maintaining good habits is just some of the stuff I said, just auto pay for everything, having your budget, paying down any debt, keep your utilization low. These are great habits. And if you feel like you're getting lost, you have any questions, make sure you guys seek professional advice. And if you guys ever have any questions for me, you guys can call me. My phone number is 833-Rickita, or you can go right here to my website, Rickita.com, and schedule a call. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Hey, welcome to episode 173 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about how many credit cards you should have. Now, I think I have a very simple answer to this, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. And a very simple answer is have as many credit cards as you can actually handle. And you have to understand what come with credit cards. Now, usually when you start getting credit cards, you just say, okay, I want to start building my credit. And then you start thinking, oh, I want to get credit cards for the rewards. You may start going down different paths, but I always go back to the point where I want you guys to be able to responsibly manage it. If you cannot responsibly manage your credit cards, making sure all your credit cards, the statement balance is paid by the due date, because if you're not doing that, you're just giving away money to these companies and you're going into debt because they're going to be able to charge you interest. So if you're not doing that, making sure that all of them are paid on time, everything is on auto pay, you're keeping your utilization down and you're not overusing it. Like if you can't do those things, then please make sure you guys just limit it to what you can manage. I do have a sheet that I use, and I'm going to make sure I attach it to this video, but I had a sheet that I was using where I actually lined up all my credit cards and I put the due dates on them and I put what's my limit. It's a thing that can actually help me track my utilization and also track my credit cards. And sometimes too, if I have 0% APR credit cards, I have them highlighted so that I can track those also. But I use this sheet, and I think that you guys should use this also. Make sure that you keep your credit cards organized, keeping them in one space. Sometimes I don't know if you guys may have this problem, but sometimes I have to switch out certain credit cards that I may be using. Maybe I'm trying to put more money on one credit card to ask for an increase for it, or whatever the case may be. So I have to make sure I switch out my credit cards, but I try to keep all of my other credit cards that I'm not using or I don't have in my wallet for everyday use. I try to make sure I keep them put up. So make sure you guys are keeping your credit cards put up. But to start off, you want to just build your credit. Just start off with about 4 credit cards and make sure that you're paying the statement balance by the due date. Make sure that you're budgeting to know how much you can technically spend and track what you're going to be using each credit card for. So make sure you know. So I say, okay, my Walgreens credit card, if I'm going to Walgreens, I want to do some couponing, I want to get a lot of stuff for free, I want to use my Walgreens credit card because it's going to make it so that I'm getting all of my stuff at my home for free. And I know, okay, that's what that credit card is for. I'm not going to use it for anything else. And then I know, okay, my Discover card I'm going to use for this. I'm going to use my American Express. I'll know exactly what I'm going to be using each credit card for, because I'm looking at also my cash back that I am receiving. But start to know what you're going to use each credit card for, or if it's a credit card you're just going to have just to have open, just have there maybe for, you already got your emergency fund. Make sure you guys have your emergency fund put to the side, at least $1,000 minimum. Have that to the side. But maybe you want to have a credit card, say, okay, I got $5,000 here. If something was to happen, at least I can tap into that, or whatever the case may be for you all. But just make sure, no matter what, you guys can manage it. And if you're not, again, paying the statement balance by the due date, you guys are paying a lot of money in interest, and you really should probably slow down with your credit use and pay down or pay off those credit cards and do balance transfers. But if you find yourself in that situation, definitely seek a professional. And I'm going to make sure I put that sheet down below so that you guys can actually download it, because it's going to help you all a lot in terms of tracking your credit. Hey, beautiful people, it's Rickita, and I'm back with another video. So in this video, we're going to talk about ways to boost your chance of getting approved for a credit card. Now, these are some things that you guys probably already heard before, but I'm telling y'all, we just need to do the basics with getting approved for a credit card. We have to understand that it's nothing like really major. It's just the small fundamental things that we have to continue to look into, basically. So the first thing is, I want you guys to make sure that you're checking your credit reports and checking your credit scores. If you want to boost your chance of getting approved, you need to know what is on your credit reports and what's your credit score, because different credit cards want different things. So you can't say, oh, I want to get a Chase credit card if you got a 520 credit score. If you have a 520 credit score, you need to get a secure credit card. But you cannot know what you're able to get really until you actually look at your credit score and say, okay, I know where I'm at. Let me see what my options are. So please know what your credit score is and try to improve your credit score. If your credit score is not the best, please improve it. So just paying all your bills on time, make sure everything is on auto pay, remove any late payments that you have, remove any negative accounts that you have. If you all go to my website, Rickita.com, I do have some free dispute letters. So here it is here. I have some free dispute letters that you all can download. So start removing these late payments, any negative accounts, because that's going to increase your chances of actually getting approved. And keep your utilization low. So if you have credit cards, make sure you guys pay down your credit cards. I have a utilization tracker so that you guys can track the utilization on your credit cards and play with the numbers. I know Credit Karma do tell you what your utilization is, but I like to play with the numbers so I can say, okay, I need to pay it on this credit card, or what amount do I need to pay so I can get it down. I love it to be at 5% when I apply for anything. I know it's going to be my best credit score. I always want to put my best foot forward when I apply for credit cards, and avoid all of those hard inquiries that you guys can get from applying for too many credit cards, because those hard inquiries can actually drop your lower your credit score. You don't want that to happen. And make sure you guys are choosing the right card. This is the third thing I want to talk about. Choose the right card. So start with a secure credit card if your credit score is very, very low. And then look for credit cards, again, that's designed for your credit level. So research these credit cards. And then I even have something on my website where you guys can pre-qualify for credit cards. It's like 45 different accounts. I know I tell you guys this all the time. I'm going to show you guys after I go through this list how to actually access the website, how to look at the website, but definitely pre-qualify for those credit cards. That credit card, if you pre-qualify for it, it's going to tell you yes or no without the hard inquiry, and that's what you need. You don't want to get a hard inquiry for no reason. So I really want you guys to try to pre-qualify. That way you don't have to play too much of the guessing game and just mess around and get a hard inquiry. And again, prepare for the application. Make sure everything is together. Make sure your utilization is in check before you apply, because once they get your credit report, that is what they're going off of. That is what they're going off of. So before I actually graduated, I had a problem with one of my professors. So I just literally graduated and I had a problem with one of my professors. And I'm like, I'm about to graduate. Like, it's no way. And I'm like, you need to fix this. But I could have just said, you know what? I'll take this class next semester and just graduate. I'm not going to. And I was like, no. This is what I need to get done. So when you guys, I knew I applied for graduation, I was already approved. I just have to finish these classes. So the same thing is, you want to get approved for the credit card as long as you got your stuff in order. So make sure you have everything in order. Keep your utilization low, no late payments, the negative accounts. All these different things are factors into it. So we already talked about it, you know, with different accounts, removing them. So just make sure your application is ready and you have a utilization down. And make sure you guys build positive credit history. When you guys want to get certain credit cards, you have to understand that you have to have a certain amount of credit cards. Like, for example, Apple, Apple's not going to just take a chance on you and give you a credit card if you never had a credit card. I have seen Apple want you to have other credit cards reporting first before they give you a chance and give you a credit card. So start building that positive credit history. Make sure all your credit cards, all of your accounts that can be on auto pay, make sure that they are on auto pay, because them late payments are going to hurt you. And again, that pre-qualification, use the tool on my website. So you utilize the pre-qualification tools right on my website, Rickita.com, because that utilization is going to be very, very important too. Even when you do the pre-qualification, if you pre-qualify for a credit card and you pay down, if you don't get approved, or they like, no, can give you one. If you pay down some of your credit cards, you will see that you will have a greater chance of getting approved for the credit card that you just applied for. If you pay down some of your credit cards, you may find out that they may approve you. So utilize that pre-qualification. And I always think about who is that? Aaliyah. At first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again, because that's real. If you want it, do the pre-qualification. Because I remember when I went to get Discover at one time, they told me no. And they kept telling me no. And I'm like, what is up? So I just like, okay, maybe I have some other things I need to work on. And we get my utilization out, make sure all these things are in order. And then I try every month. I tried though. I pre-qualify every month, and then eventually it gave it to me. So do the pre-qualification, because it's not a hard inquiry. So definitely make sure you guys do it. And again, it's on my website, Rickita.com. The next thing is, I want you guys to consider applying with a co-applicant. So maybe you want to add someone on if you're having not the best time with building your credit. Maybe you want to add someone else onto the application. And this is really good too when you guys are trying to get a vehicle too. But with credit cards, you guys can do the same thing. You can add a co-applicant on, and they can consider their credit too. So that could be a good thing. Or maybe, again, let's kind of skip a few steps. Maybe you want to be added as an authorized user on someone else's credit card too. Maybe that right there can boost your credit score, and that can boost your chances of actually getting approved for a credit card. And understand that timing is everything. If you just got a late payment last month, maybe you want to wait a few months. Maybe you want to work on removing it. The late payment, to me, you have a better chance of getting approved for certain credit cards when that late payment is like a year or 2 years old. So you don't want to apply right away, but if it's been some time, still try. Do the pre-qualification. I've also seen this with bankruptcies. So if you do have a bankruptcy on your credit report, you haven't removed it yet, then I want you all to understand that if you just filed bankruptcy, that thing was just added. Depending on what it is, Chapter 13 is going to be harder to get credit cards compared to Chapter 7 bankruptcy. But you have to understand that you may not get approved because you just have bankruptcy. You have no positive accounts probably. You haven't started building your credit. But if you already filed bankruptcy 4 years ago, I still see people like, oh, I filed bankruptcy and I'm looking, it's 5 years old. I'm like, you could have had perfect credit by now if you would have started building your credit. So understand the timing and just apply at the right time and build a relationship with your bank. I did this with a credit union. And when I built a relationship with them, they was able to give me a home equity line of credit. Well, actually, it wasn't a line of credit. It was a loan. I was able to get a loan on our properties. I was like, oh, this is nice. They gave me a credit card. My car was upside down. But once I started building a relationship, they was like, oh, your car is upside down. That's okay. You got a high interest rate. We'll give you a new loan with a lower interest rate. And that's just because I have accounts with them. And they're like, okay, she's doing good. I built the relationship. So you don't necessarily have to do like the pre-qualification for some of those. You can go to your local credit union, the bank that you're already at, and build a relationship with them. And they'll most likely be able to extend credit to you. And a good one for this is Navy Federal. And make sure you guys review and monitor your credit regularly. Like, keep looking. I'm nosy when it comes down to my credit. Like, I need to know, like, what is up? What is my credit score? Every morning I'm looking at it. So I want you guys to do the same thing. So review and monitor your credit regularly. But let's actually go ahead and look at how to actually look at those credit cards when you can pre-qualify without a hard. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 175 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about getting a co-signer or guarantor. And this is going to help you guys have better approval odds. So if you guys know that your credit is not the best, you're finding that you can't get approved for certain things. And when I always think about this, I think about mostly a car. But if you guys know that it's hard to get approved of certain things, think about getting someone to co-sign for you. Now, if you guys were to get someone to co-sign for you, say if you have a mom, a dad, a spouse, or whoever you may know, you may have a friend that have great credit and they're willing to co-sign for you. This can help you have better chances of actually getting approval, because getting approved for whatever you're applying for, because you have someone that has good credit. Hopefully you pick somebody with some excellent credit, and they're going to consider their credit with the application. So when you guys go and apply for something, especially think about like a car, if you guys get a co-signer, they can look at the co-signer's credit and say, you know what, I can go ahead and approve you now. And depending on their financials and different things like that too. But I definitely suggest you guys look into getting a co-signer. So if you're like, I cannot get approved, try to see if you can have someone co-sign for you. Now, don't get the wrong people too. Don't say, oh yeah, I can have my mom do it, and you haven't even looked at their credit. Like, look on their Credit Karma something. Like, you have to know, because if they don't have the best of credit, it's going to hurt you. And we're going to talk about authorized users in the next episode, because that's very big. I need y'all to understand this authorized user thing to the maximum, because you may think, oh, let me co-sign for somebody because they don't have the best credit. You have to understand that there's different obligations when it come down to somebody being a guarantor. They basically say, I guarantee that this is going to be paid. If they for some reason they don't do what they need to do, I guarantee it's going to get paid. And then you have different things where, like a co-signer can be there saying, oh yeah, go ahead and look at my credit. I guarantee, I be on top of them, making sure that they pay it. They are legally obligated to repay the debt if you fail to do so. But understand too, that co-signer, what's on that, whatever that loan is, that stuff going to be reported to their credit report every month. Okay, so I want you guys to make sure that you pick the right person. And when you have someone co-sign for you, please don't mess it up with them. That's nice that they even thought about doing this for you. You do not want to mess up that relationship by not doing what you need to do. But let's talk about these authorized users, and let's also go through my website, Rickita.com. I want to show you guys how to actually navigate it, because you guys can get free dispute letters. There is so much there and a lot of credit cards. So hey beautiful people, welcome to episode 176 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about authorized user accounts. And you guys need to know about authorized user accounts because they can make or break your credit. Now, an authorized user is someone who is added to another person's credit card account with the primary cardholder's permission. The authorized user receives a card with their name on it, but is not legally responsible for paying the bill. The primary cardholder remains responsible for all payments. Now, I have to say that because when you guys add someone as an authorized user, or if you're added, a credit card is going to be sent. You can request that they don't get a credit card, or you can request that credit card gets sent to your house. But you have to understand that you're basically authorizing them to use your credit card without any type of liability. So I'm all like, I didn't have someone mess up my credit before, and I'm just like, I'm never again doing it. I just feel like if you want to get some credit, you should be able to get some credit for yourself, or you need to figure out what you need to do to be able to get your credit, like get some credit, because authorized user accounts can make or break you. Someone can max out a credit card or do anything negative that can hurt your credit. I wouldn't say, well, max out a credit card and mess up your utilization. Now you have to pay off that debt. So it can really hurt you and really set you back financially. So I want you guys to understand that before we get into anything. And if you guys become an authorized user on someone else's credit card, please do not play about their credit. Do not do anything that you know that you're not authorized to do verbally with them, because once you get, I'm so sorry about that, you guys. Once you get their credit card, like, you can do whatever you want. So just make sure you guys are being responsible. Now, the benefits of becoming an authorized user is you get credit history boost. So all of the history that they had in terms of all that on-time payment history from when they opened that card is going to be added to your credit report. That's nice. And say if you only got $300 credit cards, $500 credit cards, now you guys are going to have credit cards being reported. They say if it's authorized user of $10,000 $5,000, $7,000, even 20,000, 30,000, whatever it can be. This can help with your overall utilization. And I do suggest that they're not using this credit card or holding a balance on this credit card or having a balance more than 5%, because anything more than that is going to hurt your credit score. And that's something we definitely need to talk about. But you're going to have that history, you're going to have access to credit, and now you're going to have potentially a higher credit score. Now, to become an authorized user, all you have to do is speak to the person that's a primary card holder and ask them to add you as an authorized user. Now, usually they're going to need your full name, date of birth, and your social security number to add you. Okay. Now, once you are approved, you will receive your own card with your name on it, which is allowing you to make purchases. Again, you may or may not get the card because sometimes you may actually pay to be an authorized user on someone else's credit card. Now, understand that let's talk in terms of you're an authorized user. There is things you need to know about the responsibility and limitations. You're not legally responsible. So anybody that adds you as an authorized user, it don't matter who it is. You're not responsible for whatever you spend. They are. The usage limits, you need to know what their credit limit is, because if you know what their credit limit is, then you can know how much you're able to spend too. And then you also want to know about the impact on your credit. So the account's activity, including like the payment history, the balance, will be reported to your credit report. So if they're missing payment or carrying high balances, is going to negatively affect your credit. I have seen a lot of people get added as an authorized user and they have credit cards with 97% utilization. On top of it being 97% utilization, sometimes it's not bad because you can hide it with having good credit yourself or having higher limit credit cards yourself. But having that high of a utilization, and say if it's a $10,000 credit card, no, you have is $300 or $500 credit cards. Having a $9,000 something balance, that is going to damage your credit so much, and you can't build your way out of there because that's technically your highest limit, and it got a high balance. So please, no late payments and high utilization, because once you get added, or once those things be added and reported, it's going to drop your credit score. So again, you want to choose someone with great history and an account status staying in good standing too. Okay, you can always request to be removed. All you have to do is tell them to call the company and ask to be removed. Or a lot of times when you're not a lot of times, but when you're an authorized user, you're able to call sometimes and say certain things like, hey, I want to be removed as an authorized user. Now you have to understand the impact to your credit. Now, if they have high utilization, this can be a great thing when you get removed. Now, if it's maybe it's an authorized user account where a credit card that if they have bad utilization, then it could be a good thing as a remove. But if they have very good utilization, great history, and it was actually boosting your credit score, once it's removed and the account is removed from your credit reports, and then your credit score could potentially drop. Okay, and these are some risks and some considerations I want you guys to understand. So your credit improvement is tied to, or the misuse of this account, it can actually hurt your credit score. So if you fall behind on this card, or if they fall behind, or if you use too much of it, you can be dependent on it in a way. So your credit improvement is going to be tied to this. So I just want to make sure that you guys are not missing any payments, or you make sure that they're not missing any payments, or you're not using too much on the credit card and they're not using too much. I wouldn't really want to be on a lot of people's credit card, because they can really ruin, if they wanted to, they can ruin your credit in a way by just messing up on that one credit card. And it's a scary thing, but it can be a good thing. But you have to understand these different things, because some people think they're doing good by adding an authorized user account to their credit reports, but it's not. Okay, and I understand you have limited control over the account's activity, and the primary card holder, their decisions will impact your credit score. Now, there are some alternatives to authorized user accounts. You can just build your own credit. If you can't get approved for credit cards, you need to just go ahead and get a secure credit card. And I'm about to show you my website, Rickita.com. So I'm going to show you how you can actually look at some credit cards to get approved for. Look into getting a credit builder loan, or even start with some of the retail credit cards just to start building your credit. Because if that's what you have to do, then that's what you have to do. But I wouldn't want you to ruin your credit trying to build your credit and get the wrong authorized user account. Okay, so please be responsible about this. Authorized user accounts are very important to know about, but at the same time, there's cause for concern about these accounts. So I'll see you guys at episode 177. Let's actually look at my website before we go there. Hey, welcome to episode 177 of Credit 101. In this episode, I want to talk to you guys about partnering with local merchants. Now, the reason I said partner with your local merchants because sometimes you can go to a store and not know that they offer credit there. And not only do they offer credit, but they will report that credit onto your credit reports. Sometimes people are looking to have different accounts reported and they just don't know where to go. So I wanted to make this video to tell you guys about a few local merchants that you can consider based off of what I experienced. You guys may find this when you go to some of your local credit union. You can credit unions or banks. You guys can consider them like a merchant for you guys, but if you go to like your local credit union, I did that. I was able to get a credit card from them. I was able to get my car refinanced, and they gave me a home equity loan. So I just found me a local credit union and they gave me what I wanted. But let me tell you guys about a few other accounts that I was able to get to and I got approved for that actually report to the credit bureaus. Now, with these accounts, let me say this, that they may not be I'm not going to say anything about what they have going on other than what I have experienced. That's it. Because some of them, they get bad raps. Some people, you may use the account wrong or not wrong, but they may not pay it and they have problems with it. I'm not talking about that. I'm only talking about the point that they will report to the credit bureaus. Double check that they are going to still report, because that's all I care about. We're caring about it getting reported to the credit bureaus. So actually on my website, I have a list. It's Rickita.com. I have this list pre-qualified with no hard inquiry. I have a few store credit cards on here. Just to show you, I want to show you these store credit cards because this is just a great example of actually stores giving you credit. And you could just be trying to get you a Tempur-Pedic mattress. Maybe what if you was just trying to get you a mattress and then you find out they had a credit card? That credit card is going to report to the credit bureaus. So that's a way that you can actually start building your credit. Sealy, maybe you was trying to go there and you find out, oh my gosh, I got a credit card. Apply for it, because especially if you're going to go there anyway, if you want credit being reported, it's a great way to like easily get accounts reported to your credit reports. Yamaha, they have their credit card. Bob's Discount Furniture. So these are just a few. Maybe you went to Kohl's and you're like, oh my gosh. So a lot of store credit cards. Kohl's, Lowe's, Lexus. These are credit cards that you guys can apply for. You could think of them like a local merchant. I think about them as just companies that you may just go to just buy something, and maybe you find out they had a credit card. Maybe you want to just finance it just if you want them to report to the credit bureaus. Now, some other ones I want to talk to you guys about is Snap Finance. You guys can apply for them. You can pre-qualify for them. They don't care about your credit history. In a sense, they're going to be actually looking at your banking, how much money you have coming into your accounts, to let you know how much you're going to get approved for. So I was able to get approved for the Snap before. I never used it. They do have the Same as Cash. Definitely make sure you guys search Same as Cash, Snap Finance, to make sure what their terms are and what they want to actually do for the Same as Cash. But the one that I actually did apply for and do was the ASEMA. So the ASEMA credit, this is the one I actually did. I did this one, I applied for it and actually used it. I got a sectional. I still have the sectional today. I got a sectional with this, and I was able to, actually they have it right here to learn more. They actually have a credit card now. Congratulations. I didn't know they had a credit card. I have to make a separate video. But I was actually able to get credit with them. And it's really like one of them Snap Finance where you're just going and buying things from the store. So I definitely like this one now, especially seeing that they do have a actual credit card. But she was able to find out which store actually accepted it. They approved you for a certain amount, and as long as you paid it off, like that, they have like a 90-day same as cash or 100-day same as cash. As long as you pay it off within that time frame, then you guys, look, they were going to report to the credit bureaus that you're paying. And I did the same as cash options, so I wasn't paying all those fees, because we are talking very high interest accounts, especially with like ASEMA and Snap Finance. Very high interest, and credit cards in general can be high interest. But these are some of those companies, or even I put in here in my search, Ashley Furniture, Rooms to Go. See if they got credit cards. So I know Ashley Furniture definitely got a credit card. It's with Synchrony Bank. So let me actually see, because look, financing, some of these companies are going to report to the credit bureaus. And if you were already going there anyway, you can build your credit that way. And look, in-store only, 72 months, interest-free financing on premium mattress brands. So look, that is really good. And sometimes ask them, are they going to report? Sometimes they're going to report, and they do have a credit card that you can apply for. So there you guys go. You guys have some options of a lot of different accounts. But when I say actually partner with your local merchants, I mean those companies that you're going to spend money with anyway. Ask them, do y'all have any type of financing option, and will you guys report to the credit bureaus, because that's what's going to be important. But let's go over to episode 88. I'm going to episode 178, and I'm going to actually show you my website too, because I want to make sure you guys get familiar, because I have free credit reports there, free credit report access there. I have some dispute letters there. So let's actually go ahead and check it out. Hey, beautiful people, welcome to episode 178 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about getting a loan at a credit union or even going to your local bank. Now, I was able to get both, so I definitely want to talk about the process, and I want to let you guys know that it's different for everyone. You know, you may have a totally different experience, so I just want you guys to understand that this is kind of how it works, but some things can this kind of how it works, but some things can actually change. So the first thing is I had to make sure that I determined like what type of loan that I wanted to get when I got a loan. So I determined that I wanted to do a home equity line of credit, and not a home equity line of credit, but a home equity loan. And I determined that I wanted to do a home equity loan only because I had a home that had equity in it. Now, some of you guys may determine that you want to get a personal loan. Maybe you want to get a car loan. You want to buy a car, get you an auto loan, and don't just necessarily get a personal loan. But yeah, you want to determine what type of loan that you want to get. I have to make sure I check my credit scores. So when I checked my credit scores, I saw that, okay, my credit scores was like a 620 at the time when I wanted to get the loan, the home equity loan. So I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to get approved? But all I did was I literally just called the bank, I called the credit unions, and I asked them, hey, what credit score are you guys looking at? Like, who's going to approve me first? And then I asked, hey, what credit scores are you guys looking for? Which credit score should I have? So I knew that, okay, I can possibly get the loan. So I went and did, like I said, I did a lot of research, calling on different lenders. Once I found out like what credit score they wanted, then I made sure I prepared my documentation. Now, you may need different documentation. Everyone will be different depending on if you guys were to just go to like a local bank, maybe they'll tell you to apply online, and maybe they won't need as much documentation. But usually they're going to need like a valid ID or driver's license or passport, something that can verify you. Then they're going to need a proof of income, so like your pay stubs, tax returns. If you guys are self-employed, maybe they'll have different things that they may need from you. So any type of employment verification, and then they want to check your credit history, which is basically them getting your credit reports. But make sure you guys prepare your documentation. This is what I tell myself, don't assume what it is. Like, literally take your time, call them and say, hey, what do I need? I'll bring that. Don't just assume I need this, and that, and then you never apply. Because some companies, like if you just apply for a loan online for a lot of these companies, they may not need verification. They can just go off your credit report and what you said. They'll be able to prove you for that. Or maybe they just say, hey, I just need your check stubs. I just need proof of your income. You never know. So don't assume. Please don't make assumption on this. Call and ask. All these steps, call and ask. Then you have to apply for the loan. When I applied for my home equity loan, I applied right in person. And the person that was actually giving me my home equity loan was actually the person that helped me with the application. So I went to a local credit union. They don't have that many people there, and the person actually does their loans and actually approve them. I think up to like 500,000 or to like $1 million. That person was actually person that was filling out my loan application. They already told me that they're going to be able to get a loan. They just didn't tell me the amount yet. So please make sure you see if you can talk to the underwriter, if it is like a in-house underwriter, especially if it's like a very, very small credit union. That was a trick that I learned. Go to one of them very, very small credit unions, because you could most likely talk to the person that's going to approve you. So that is something that's good. But you apply for the loan. I applied in person. You guys can possibly apply online. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do, but just ask them exactly what you need to do. Wait for approval. I did have to, with a home equity loan, that's different. I had to wait a little bit because I had to do like an appraisal and all these different things. Um, but you can get approval right away. Maybe they'll tell you in a day. You just have to wait for your approval. And then after that, they're going to give you an offer. So he said, hey, we can give you this amount. And I said, okay, that's cool. I could take it, because I was too scared to tell him anything else. Like, change it, don't do this. I was too scared to even do that. I was just like, I'm happy you give me anything. I was nervous. But you guys can see what they have to offer. Maybe you can ask them if they can switch it, if they can give you more, what can you change to get more, or what can you change to get better. Maybe different loans or something, like the different interest rate, like what to get better terms, basically. Maybe you can ask them about that, but review your offer. If you like it, then you accept your offer. Once they said, hey, everything is good, we just need you to come sign, then I went and signed, and that was it. But I had to accept that loan. And then make sure you manage your loan responsibly. Just paying on time, put it on auto pay if you can. Make sure that if you want to pay it off early to save on interest, you definitely can. I would suggest it, especially. I don't think that you should be trying to hold these different debts for a long time. And I listened to Dave Ramsey. I actually have his book back here. I listened to him with that, to paying off a car very fast. So definitely, I mean, having a loan in less than 2 years. So I definitely suggest that for you too. Because I thought that, oh, I gotta have it for 5 years. Some people having it up to 6 years, 72 months. And I'm like, oh, I thought this was normal. No, you don't have to do that. So I definitely happy that I listened to him, and he helped me through that process by just listening to him on YouTube. But like, just a simple YouTube video just went Dave crazy. But definitely make sure you manage your loan responsibly. And then make sure you continue to build and maintain these relationships with these lenders, because the lender that I went to, they not only did they give me that loan, the home equity line of credit, they gave me a loan, not home equity line of credit. I keep throwing the words together, not the same. Home equity loan, home equity line of credit. Those are two separate things. Not only did he give me a home equity loan, but they actually refinanced my car for me, which means that I had I think of like a 24% interest rate on my car. They refinanced it and gave me my interest rate was for sure under the tens. I know that for sure. I don't remember, because this was a while ago when I did this, but they was able to, refinance my car, give me a credit card, which was my new highest limit. I was like, oh my gosh, I never had this much credit available. Everything was so amazing. So make sure you guys maintain that relationship, because they can give you more. You guys can even go to like your local credit unions like Navy Federal. I love Navy Federal products. I had a little glitch with them, but I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt that was an individual person, and that um, it was not their whole company, because I do like Navy Federal, but they have a lot of different products. So definitely you can build a relationship with them, get credit cards, get loans. They can help you get your mortgage. They have a lot of different products. So definitely check that out. But you guys have so many different options, but that's exactly how you're going to get that loan at the credit union and also at the bank. Again, you want to call them and ask them any questions you have. You know what the layout's going to be. You know what's going to happen. You want to ask them, hey, I want to get a loan. I want to get a personal loan. I want to get an auto loan. I want to get a home equity loan. You'll let them know what you want. Just ask, hey, what do my credit score have to be? Do you guys care about collections? Do you care about charge-offs? What's the amounts? All those different things. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to definitely go to my website, Rickita.com, and schedule a call, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 179 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about getting a credit builder loan. And this is very, very easy. So if you guys want to get a credit builder loan, I really suggest getting a loan with and also getting a loan with Kickoff. Those are those credit builder loans. You can also do the pledge loan with Navy Federal. I did do those two. I did do that loan. I tested all of these different loans. I recently tested the pledge. I have to actually make my last payment on it today just to see how it worked. So I don't know how it's going to actually close out. But it was something that could help you technically build your credit. It did drop my credit score because I didn't need a loan, but I wanted to test it out as an option for you guys too, just in case you don't want to necessarily do like the self or do the Kickoff. But I definitely suggest self. This is really my favorite. If you scroll down, you'll see their different credit builder loans. For 24 months, you'll make the payment that's listed here: $25, $35, $48, $158, whichever one you decide. You'll make those payments and you'll make them for 24 months. For the 24 months, they're going to report to the credit bureaus that you're paying on time, and that's what's going to build your credit score. Now, this is the total amount that you're going to be paying. If you can look here and see, you'll see the total amount, $3,600 will be for $150 per month. And then the amount that you technically going to be paying in interest, I want you guys to be aware that is here: $89, $123, $167, and this one is $531. So this is the amount you're going to get back into your account, this green spot here. But these accounts right here is going to report to the credit bureau. So you will pick one, you'll get signed up for it. The first month they'll charge you $9, or when you first sign up, that's the fee you usually pay. And then after that, you'll pay whatever the amount is listed here, and they're going to report to the credit bureaus, which should make your credit score go up if you need installment accounts in your credit reports. And just make sure that you have it on auto pay. That's what they require. Have it on auto pay and just make sure it's being paid on time. You should see your credit score go up. We also have Kickoff here. Kickoff, instead of paying like the $25, $35, Kickoff just said you can start with $5 per month. You can even do $20 per month. They have different amounts you can do per month, but they'll report to, I wouldn't say, well, for their personal loan, they do report to all three credit bureaus. It's just you just pay $10 per month, and you do it for 12 months. You don't do it for 24 months. So I really do like this Kickoff account because it's only for 12 months. Only because usually, like when you're trying to build your credit, or when I tried to build my credit when I first started off, it was certain things I just needed to get. And after the 12 months, it got me. My credit was lit after the 12 months. If I did what I need to do, just paying off all my credit cards, deleting all my accounts, in that 12 months, you should be where you need to be, where you don't have to rely on having to do like a secured account technically. But those are like the credit builder loans. So I would just say after the 12 months, you should be good. Just make sure that you're going full force. Make sure you got 4 credit cards. If those need to be secure, get them secure. Try to get the ones that's graduating. And then you can be out of these type of loans quick. And then the $10 per month, that's no interest. So you're going to pay $10 per month, and then you're going to get the $120 back. You're going to get that after you're done paying on it. So they don't have any fees. Remember I said, oh, this is the fee. Let me show you that. I was like, oh, this is the fee that you're going to have. But I would rather not, have to pay $531 in interest. Like, this is the interest rate down here. With that Kickoff account, $10 per month with their Kickoff account, good. That's fine. I'm not... Well, yeah, they're just $10 per month. I actually started talking a little bit about the $5 per month, but this was actually the revolving account. So please, I'm so sorry about that. This is the revolving account. It's literally $10 per month for 12 months for their installment account, which is what we're talking about with the personal loan. I got carried away with Kickoff, because Kickoff got 2 where you can actually get both. You can do the $5 per month on here, so you can have a revolving, and again, no hard pulls required. They just need to verify your identity. And then you can also do that personal loan that I was talking about, which is the credit builder loan. Basically, that's $10 per month for 12 months, and you'll get all of that money back without any interest taken out. At the time, it's 2024 recording, because Kickoff is changing over the years. They're changing every year, something new with them, which is great that they're changing. But definitely check that out. You can also go to one of your, like I said, Navy Federal got the pledge loan. You can go to your credit union and see if they have any type of credit builder loans. But those are different credit builder loans. A lot of times it's not a lot of verification. They don't really care a lot about your income because it's secure. You have to pay. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Let's check out my website. Hey, beautiful people, welcome to episode 180. In this episode, we're going to talk about putting it all together. So, I want you guys to know how to prevent future financial problems. This is something that through this list, you guys, I am working on some of these things on my own, but I know what the plan is and I need to get them done. So, I kind of want to talk about some of the things that I have already done, or certain things I just have to make sure that I'm working on, or making sure is together, such as investing wisely. So investing for the future, something I'm continuously working on. I'm in my 30s. We have to invest for our future, you guys, for money that we're not going to see until we're in our 60s. So this is something that I'm working on, and I want to make sure you guys are working on too. So the first thing is, make sure you guys create and stick to a budget. I literally have some budgets on my website, Rickita.com. I have some budgets on there. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys the website. I have some budgets on there that you can check out. Find out which budget is best for you. List all your different bills there. Put your income in there so you can see exactly how much you have left over at the end of every month. You have, what you're investing, what you put to the side. Everything will be on there too. So I have like this. I think it's like 40 different ones. So when I say budgeting, I mean everything. Like, okay, this is how much I'm going to be investing this month. This is how much I'm going to be paying towards bills. This is how much I'm putting away for whatever you're going to be putting away for. I want you to budget for it all. Create it and stick to it. Like, as long as you're sticking to it, that's fine. That means it's like law basically for yourself. And make sure you guys build an emergency fund. I am totally on the Dave Ramsey thing. Love Dave Ramsey. Keep saying I have his book back there. But definitely you guys have to build your emergency fund. And he said at least $1,000. That's not good enough. Let's just start off with, for you guys that's probably trying to build credit. But if you already passed that, you need about 3 to 6 months worth of expenses put to the side, okay, in a high yield savings account. So definitely build your emergency fund up, stick it in there, and that's going to make sure that you guys don't have any financial problem in the future, because you have money for emergencies. It's emergency fund. But definitely make sure you guys have that set to the side, and then make sure that you're managing your debt wisely. Do not get a lot of debt that that you're not going to be able to pay for. Get a car that you can't pay for, you can't afford. You get some credit cards and you rack up all that credit card debt, and now you're like, oh my gosh, I got to pay it. It's like you knew you couldn't afford it at first. Like, you shouldn't have got it at all already. But definitely make sure you manage your debt wisely and you pay down whatever you need to pay down, or pay it off. And make sure you guys maintain a good credit score. I literally came up with an acronym, and I have it here, for something I literally been drilling in my head, so I can just always remember it for life. I know things are going to change, but when I want to make sure, I want to tell people what they need to do for their credit, I want to make sure I hit everything. So R is regularly pay your bills on time. It's my name, Rickita. I is improve your credit utilization. C is check credit reports for errors. K is keep over accounts open. I is increase credit limits responsibly. And then track credit score progress is T. And then A is avoid new hard inquiries. It's something I'm literally drilling in my head, and I want to make sure I keep sending in the videos, because if you do all of that, you're going to have a good credit score. You don't have to worry. Like, you know what I mean? If you do all of that, you're not going to have a problem. If you paying everything on time, who you going to owe? Who's actually going to say, hey, I'm going to give you a collection, I'm going to give you a charge off? So keep that in mind. And then make sure you guys make plans for your retirement. Make sure you guys are investing wisely. And these things, you got to find out what that is for you. I have kids. You may not have kids. I really don't know your situation, but make sure you guys understand what these different things is, and do it, okay? Protect your assets. When you start getting assets, you have to start making sure. This fight had been bothering me all day, and it's finally on my head. Julie, I want you to come hit him. Oh my gosh, let's avoid him. I literally am fighting because I'm like recording so many videos, and he will not let me record. But I'm like, I'm gonna avoid him because I'm not gonna get it done if I don't. But protect your assets. Make sure that you have life insurance. Make sure that you have homeowners insurance, renters insurance, auto insurance, medical, just insurance in general. Just protect all of your assets, and then also assets that you may have. in terms of like what you have invested, just everything you have. Make sure if you can protect it, you protect it, okay? And then continuously educate yourself. I am always educating myself. I am, as you guys want to see, I want to be on my library even more and more, even on both sides. I got to put some books on this side. Like, I'm really educating myself on another level right now. I got to keep learning. So I'm getting so many different books. So continue to educate yourself. Whatever you think you're lacking on, or if you hear something, either something I may say, go deeper if you know you got a problem with that thing that I said, because it can be different for everybody. So definitely just continuously educate yourself and get better every day. And make sure you guys practice responsible spending. But that's with the budget. I really feel like we shouldn't have to say this. It's just something, all of these different things are on my blog because it's different for everyone. It's going to go into greater detail also, but we shouldn't talk about this. If we have a budget, we stick to our budget. If you're spending what's in your budget, you should be doing this already, practicing it by actually doing it. And make sure you guys are reviewing this too, because it can change. Maybe look at it every year, every 2 years. If something, a big life event change. Hey, I have a new kid. I have to factor them in now. Think about that when you are looking at your financial plan. Factor these different things in. But I hope that you guys maybe are already on track for all these different things. And if you're not on track, just get on track. Find out more information. If I say you need life insurance, go and get some life insurance. Whatever the case may be, please go ahead and find out what it is that you're missing and get it done. If you guys have any questions, just go to my website, rickita.com. I'll be happy to talk to you guys. Just schedule a call there and I'll be able to call you guys. Usually I have my schedule open, so definitely go ahead and schedule that call. If for some reason my schedule is not open, please talk to my assistant because she can also help you guys, but you can also email me too. So definitely check below for my email and I'll answer any questions that you guys have. But I'll see you guys